Hello. Ayo, Edebiri. Who? I have no idea who this woman is, and neither does Andrew Garfield or Julia Roberts. But the mystery thickens, and so does my soup. So recently, ladies and gentlemen, there was this very strange clip that went viral regarding that actress who I just mentioned in my introduction. Never heard of her, but we're going to look at her resume on IMDb in a short while. But honestly, this person seems to think that the BLM movement is still a shining beacon because of George Floyd in 2020. And we know that it's not. We know that movement was propped up by rich black people living in mansions who didn't care about George Floyd. And for the record, neither do I. It's like a done and dusted case for me. But honestly, the way that guy became a martyr for a ridiculous political movement that nobody gives two shits about is still beyond me, and still beyond reproach that people like Edebiri thinks it's a big virtue signal for people like her and people like her only. And if you end up enjoying this video today, folks, make sure you give it a like, smash that subscribe button, and let's get on with it. Right, I'm not going to watch any more of this, but I'm guessing Andrew Garfield is the bad white guy. He walked her home because she's the cutesy-wootsy tomboyish black girl, and something happened, and it's her word against his. Oh, it's one of those particular Hollywood dramas that none of us are going to bother to watch when it comes out in October.
Yes, hallelujah, it's the video show. And now, the man the BBC calls
Jason King on Kung Fu Hot Dog.
Now, courtesy, folks, of the Hollywood Reporter, and I find it hilarious that they broke this news ahead of everybody else, including That Part Place and, of course, Bounding into Comics. Ayo Edebiri says, Me Too and Black Lives Matters, we're not done with those yet. We've still got a long way to go in Hollywood, which is preferably made up of many, many white folks, a lot of them Jewish people as well. So Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield, just to put this into some perspective, folks, were asked this question by an Italian journalist who apparently has 20 years of covering the matriarchy, not the patriarchy, various ethnicities, but she doesn't actually include male or female genders in her defense of her question. And it wasn't a bad question, but why did she ask it? It's very strange. But then again, we do say that, and then you get the most ridiculous responses from Karens like Ayo, which you're about to see, and it only makes her look more stupider in the process. Now, what's even more interesting is that the same journalist who asked this question actually brought forth a defense to the stand, and it's pretty hilarious, actually. It's all the stuff I've just mentioned. But anyway, folks, let's get on with this, because again, when you get activist journalists out there, whether they're from France or Italy, Germany, whatever, Spain, you know, this is going to be their excuse for when you got A-list stars and Ayo Edebiri on stage, asking them some very trite questions that are meant to elicit a reaction. So the journalist from Italy, her name is Federica Polidoro, and she asked Roberts and Garfield in an on-camera interview where they were joined by Edebiri, now that Me Too is done, blah, blah, blah. Why do you think it's gotten lost? Why is the big reason? Well, I'll tell you why. Because politics doesn't sell Hollywood movies. People want to go and watch a film to be entertained for 2 hours plus, as is the running time these days. So let's have a look at the video, folks, because it is pretty hilarious, and we're going to come back to this particular segment from the defense of Miss Polidoro. So here is the interview, and Julia Roberts still looking good for her age, and she's got quite a nice set of legs, as you can see right there.
During the politically correct era, and what we have to expect.
Andrew Garfield, I can never read this guy's face properly. He's a bit of a hippy-dippy with the gooseneck, just like the gooseneck I've got around my mic right here. And again, dude, what's with the hippy-dippy shirt? It's hilarious, man. It's like he's gone back to the 1970s again. But it's like, oh, here we go again. This particular question is coming up again. And I think what happens while she's asking the question, he turns to his left as if to try to catch the eye of Julia Roberts, or perhaps his publicist. Have a look. There you go. Andrew, we're not going to get you in Spider-Man 4, but it's hilarious to see you sit down and talking about this movie.
The Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matter
Yeah, more like the bowel movement.
are done. The two of you.
And look at Ayo's face right there. I've got to point this out because like Abby Phillips on CNN, Ayo and Abby have the same thing in common. Black women who want to look like white women by relaxing their hair with chemical solutions, but they're still black chicks. And if she's so proud of her black heritage, why doesn't she just come out enacting with her afro hair, right? Because there's no black woman on earth who is born with straight hair like that. I can guarantee you that.
Andrew and Julia.
Well, okay.
Oh, do you know what this reminds me of? When Kanye West went up to the Grammys. It's like that Zoolander moment where Taylor Swift, she won an award, right? And then all of a sudden it's Kanye's out of nowhere. He's like, no, that's for me, not for her. This is kind of like that, which is hilarious. Like, those two are being asked a question, but now this misfit right here is like, well, actually, can I answer it, please? Because I'm qualified. These two honkies right here definitely are not.
What, can you repeat that? And I with your sunglasses on, I can't tell which of us you're talking to. So
So the question was for Julia and Andrew.
So hang on a minute. She's like going, yeah. So it's me. I'm signaling to you to ask me the question, despite the fact that it's Julia and Andrew who are being asked the question.
Now that the Me Too era and the Black Lives Matter are done.
I've never seen I've never seen anyone so offended like, hey, or Edebiri.
What you have to expect in Hollywood.
I bet her breast stinks as well.
And what we lost, if we lost something with the politically correct era.
Well,
It's
I
not
didn't.
done.
Sorry. I know that that's not for me, and I don't know if it's purposeful if it's not me, but I just am curious.
Yeah, because I want to be under the spotlight because I'm a failed comedian and an actress who's been in Inside Out 2 or whatever the hell it is. And, oh, look at me, I'm hunched like a beaver. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, the most insufferable pose I've seen of a Karen. Like, holy shit, woman. Like, it's so rude to interrupt like I'm doing with this stream, but it's fine because you can play and you can watch this interview yourself, actually. And it's just so ridiculous that she thinks she is the entitled one, the chosen one to answer the journalist's question, or in this case, a urinalist.
I don't think it's done. I agree
It's
with
not
you.
done.
I don't think it's done at all. I think maybe hashtags might not be used as much, but I do think that there's work being done by activists, by people every day. That's beautiful, important work. That's not finished. That's really, really, really active.
Well, that's really funny because I've not seen any of this beautiful activist work she's talking about because maybe I think activists suck ass. Probably. That's the reason.
For a reason, because this world is really charged.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who made it charged again? Oh, that's right, George Floyd and the left-wing media, because when it suits them, they will publish a story like that. When it comes to a Ukrainian girl on a train in Charlotte called Irina Zubrutska, murdered by a degenerate called DeCarlos Brown, they don't report on that. I wonder why that is.
And that work isn't finished at all. Maybe if there's like not mainstream coverage in the way that there might have been
daily headlines
in the way that
Oh, that's an interesting point. I didn't know she was going to say that. So she seems to be pissed that mainstream media doesn't cover BLM or Me Too anymore because nobody gives a fuck about them. That's the simple answer. People just want to move on and watch a movie or be entertained. Stop injecting everything with a Me Too message or BLM message because BLM, again, what is BLM? I'll explain it to you very quickly. BLM is a fake political movement, right? Devised by rich black chicks and probably some men who have their mansions already. So as George Floyd came along, oh, they hit the jackpot. They were right in there to exploit his death for more monetary gain and to get this ridiculous politicized movement renounced all over the world. Well, when I say renounced, I mean I renounced it because I just thought, what the hell is this? But other people embraced it and realized afterwards, you know what? This is a big pile of shit. I want to get back to my normal routine again. Julia Roberts actually looks a bit embarrassed as well. Like, I know she's kind of like doing the whole nose thing there, but maybe that's like what actors and actresses do, right? When you're sort of suitably embarrassed, you kind of like try to cover your embarrassment slightly. Andrew Garfield's like, yeah, man, he's like the dude, right? He's Jeff Bridges, just a very slimmer version of the dude. The dude abides.
Might have been 8 or so years ago, but I don't think that it means that the work is done.
Well, you're stupid because it is done.
Movements have been halted anyway.
Yes.
Like the movements are still absolutely alive, as you say, just maybe not as
Labeled
labeled
or
or covered. Yeah, or like.
Yeah.
Andrew, I got to tell you, mate, the BLM and the Me Too movements are not alive. They're pretty much dead. That's the simple answer.
This is or kind of magnified as much in this present moment.
So here's the resume of Ayo Edebiri. She's an American comedian. She's black.
Does he look like a bitch?
She plays black parts.
Go on.
She's a voice actress. And she won a Breakout Star Award on IMDb because I guess...
Does he look like a bitch?
They want to virtue signal people like her. And you see what I mean? She's got an afro, normal hair there, and then she's gone from that to looking like a tokenized white woman. So she was in The Bear, that FX series on Disney Plus. I was going to watch it, but now that I know that she's in it, I'm just not going to bother anymore. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, where she's the black April O'Neil who's white with red hair, but I don't know if she's in that cartoon. She could be a black version for all I know. So again, why do you take a legacy white character and turn her into a black version of instead? It doesn't make any sense. But look, not a very impressive CV. I wouldn't expect Hollywood agents to be getting on their cell phones and calling up Miss Edebiri for offers of jobs. I doubt that very much. The reason why she did this, right, was to get under the spotlight. She probably, in all honesty, didn't think it would actually go viral, but to her embarrassment, it has. And of course, it's the Hollywood Reporter that actually breaks the news. And I think as well that Miss Edebiri's agent will probably encourage her to say more stuff like that rather than telling her to tone it down. I think that's what the case is going to be. But this is how Miss Federico Polidoro defends her actions, and it's quite ridiculous actually. So this is the part I want to highlight here. I have collaborated for over 20 years with numerous national and international publications of all political orientations, always approaching my work with openness and professional rigor. In my view, the real racists are those who see racism everywhere and seek to muzzle journalism, limiting freedom of analysis, critical thinking, and the plurality of perspectives. What the fuck are you talking about, woman? Anyway, the whole part about muzzling journalism, as in not Muslims, but muzzle, as in putting a thing over your face. Again, you can say that recent deletion of the Ukrainian lady in Charlotte by the deranged black man. I would say that journalism was being muzzled there by the mainstream outlets because they weren't even talking about the perpetrator of that case. It was more like, oh, well, people on the right-hand side are now calling it a race thing, which it turns out it is, if you look into the story. But meanwhile, we're just going to give a neutral version of what actually happened, and we're going to give the antagonist, who's the low-life scumbag who carried out the deletion. We're going to give him 90% of coverage, but with the poor woman who passed away, just give her 10%. That's it, because she's a refugee, and you know, being a refugee in America is a hot topic right now. But then what it turned out to be, of course, is that it all backfired on mainstream media, didn't it? Because they didn't realize that people on YouTube would be covering the story, giving it a lot of traction, which I think is absolutely fantastic. But anyway, folks, I wanted to talk about this story because, again, just seeing another no-faced, no-ass, talentless, I should say, clown called Ayo Edebiri. Never heard of her, don't want to hear of her ever again. Don't want to see her in the film. She doesn't interest me whatsoever. She wasn't made for me, was she? But anyway, folks, if you ended up enjoying this video today, make sure you give it a like. Make sure you smash that subscribe button if you so desire. And I will catch you all catching me for the return of, not the Mac, but the next video.
Kira.
Well,
It's
I
not
didn't.
done.
Sorry. I know that that's not for me, and I don't know if it's purposeful if it's not me, but I.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.